So recently I was doing some research on certain adaptogens. Those are herbs that help you adapt to stress. And I did a thorough deep dive on ashwagandha, which is an amazing herb, but there's another herb that's equally interesting, especially for a certain effect that it can create that I really didn't understand until I really dove headfirst into it. And this herb is called rhodiola. So rhodiola is an adaptogen. It has this really interesting effect that I was just questioning, and that is this. It can help significantly reduce perceived effort after exercise. So basically, does it trick your mind into thinking that you're not tired so you can go longer? And if you kept going, would you actually get worse physically? So this just didn't make sense to me. So I'm going to show you what I found about it, which is going to be very interesting. Now, just so you know, rhodiola, being an adaptogen, it's anti-stress. It has an anti-coughing effect. It can help you if you cough. It's anti-fatigue, anti-depression, especially if that depression is more lethargy, but it can really improve one's endurance with exercise. So let me just first show you this one graph right here. This is part of the study, and I will put a link down below. They're comparing rhodiola to a placebo. And what you're looking at right here is just a numbered scale on perceived effort, how much effort a person felt when they were exercising. And so right here was after. They were comparing the rhodiola to the placebo after just taking it, not exercising. And there was some improvement. But look what happened after exercise. People had more energy, less fatigue than the placebo. And this was very significant. And that got my attention because I'm like, why would it do that? Take a look at this. We have the flight or fight mechanism, and then we have the recovery mechanism. The names for this, if we're looking at the autonomic nervous system, that system that works on automatic, that kind of regulates all the body functions, including your heart and glands and everything, is made up of the sympathetic nervous system. It's like your adaptation to stress. Okay, and then once you go through the stress, and then you have to recovery. And so both of these things can be measured on a device that I'm going to be releasing more information about that soon. But I just wanted to let you know that it is possible to measure what's going on. This would be like the gas pedal, and this is like the brake pad. But the problem is sometimes when we're stressed or we have body problems, we don't really know, do I have too much gas pedal? Do I have too much stress? Or is it just, I don't have enough recovery? Well, this device allows you to look at each one to measure it. Because even right here, if your recovery is weak, and this is sleep cycles, right? We go through these 4 sleep cycles right here, from a deep sleep to a light sleep, deep sleep, light sleep. The lighter sleep is called the REM sleep, and that is where you dream and you remember your dreams, but the wavelengths are similar to being awake, okay? But you're actually asleep. So that's the REM. And you can see the REM gets longer towards the second half of sleep, and that's controlled mainly by the sympathetic nervous system. But the deeper sleep is controlled by the parasympathetic. And so that's way more important in rejuvenating your body, okay? Because it allows you to recover the physical damage that was created from the exercise or whatever you're doing. And one quick way to know that you have a good parasympathetic is how fast can you go to sleep? Can you go to sleep really fast? You can just go right into this deep sleep, or does it take a while to get to sleep? Because this recovery thing is pushing you down into the deeper sleep. And the reason I'm talking about this is rhodiola has a really positive effect on your sleep. It helps you sleep, especially this non-REM sleep. In fact, one study I found was that your body required less sleep to get rejuvenated. And that was even more interesting. Now, I did find 3 research papers that showed taking rhodiola can improve something called heart rate variability, which is basically the technology of measuring the autonomic nervous system. And so now it's starting to make sense. Okay, so that's why someone can go longer, because you're improving the ability to adapt and recover. Of course, you're going to have more endurance. So what's happening, it's not that your body's just reducing the perception of effort. It's actually making things more efficient, because I found other research that shows that rhodiola increases glycogen reserves. That's like stored fuel, especially for intense exercise, and even an increase in ATP, which is the energy currency of the body. Now, I'm going to put this research down below, but there's some fascinating data showing how rhodiola is a prominent anti-altitude sickness remedy. Okay, what does that mean? This means that it can help someone that is climbing mountains that then get sick because of this high altitude situation, because the oxygen at the high altitudes is less, and people basically can get sick from that if they can't adapt to that. But apparently this is a well-known remedy for people who do mountain climbing, which is very interesting. So how does that work? I mean, how does rhodiola help that? And this is what they found. It decreases oxygen consumption as well as increasing oxygen transportation. That doesn't mean it shuts down oxygen. It basically makes oxygen more efficient to help make ATP, that energy currency of the body, as well as its ability or capacity to carry oxygen to certain things. And it can decrease tissue and organ damage from hypoxia. All right, what's hypoxia? Well, that's basically a lack of oxygen. Think about what happens when you do these massive climbs, right? There's lack of oxygen. So you're going to develop all sorts of hypoxic symptoms like altitude sickness, etc. So it puts a tremendous stress on the body. So rhodiola counters the damage from hypoxia, and it just allows oxygen to work better in your body, which makes a lot of sense, because what stops you from doing a longer exercise? Well, eventually you could run out of oxygen and your muscles cramp up. So rhodiola is not just tricking your brain to perceive less effort. It's actually giving more endurance by making the machine, the recovery machine, the energy machine, the oxygen machine, just to work more efficiently. It's like giving you more gas in the tank, more recovery reserve in the tank, which makes a lot of sense, because now we don't have the severity of damage from this hypoxia that we had if you didn't take it. Even students take it to have more cognitive function, yet at the same time be calm. So it's really interesting about these adaptogens, because they help you adapt if you have too much stress or not enough recovery. So you don't necessarily have to use them for one situation. I mean, rhodiola is considered like folk medicine, right? And it's been around for 1,000 years. The Russian army would use it for their soldiers when they got fatigued. And the other two papers that I was looking at both improved the heart rate variability score, which is a very important thing, as well as improving angina pains. Now, what is angina? That's when your heart cramps, right? Why? Because of lack of oxygen. So apparently rhodiola somehow improves the oxygen in the muscle. And then the last study showed improvement in the heart muscle after exercise. So when you exercise and you damage the heart muscle, rhodiola can help counter some of that damage from the hypoxia that's generated. So anyway, I wanted to put this on your radar so you're aware of it, so you have another tool to use to improve your exercise performance. Also, if you want to download my one-page summary of the 25 natural ways to lower cortisol, I'll put that link down below.